Well, hello, everybody. This is Denver Broncos tonight, and I know it has been a long time since we were together on this, but I just want to say what's up to everybody. Just want to say what's good to all of you out there in Broncos country tonight. In Broncos country, I don't know. Usually I don't go live on Wednesdays, but yeah, I'm back. It's been a long time since I've done this, especially since I've had nose surgery. But yeah, ever since then, I am back and I'm basically fully recovered. So it is time to talk to y'all about the Broncos because that is what we all love. And oh shit, sorry, adjusting my mic real quick, but that's what I love to do. And obviously, this is an interactive show, so you guys have any thoughts, any comments that you want to put up there, be sure to tell me what you guys are thinking. But yeah, I guess I could start by uh, going to the NFL bracketology, and I'm going to show you guys the games that we got this week. Even though you guys know, if you're tapped in, you know what kind of games we got. Hold on. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. Anybody have any thoughts about what's going on? So I'll go game by game and just talk about these just a little bit. Uh, what's up, brother? Seems like a big topic. VJ leaves and we get two draft picks. Do you like that? Yeah, I do. The reason I like that is not because of the picks, but I think it's best for everybody involved. I don't think it does Vance Joseph any good to stay here as a really hot coordinator. I don't think he does him any good to just be one of the best defense coordinators in the league year in and year out and just not have upward mobility. I also think that something needs to change based on how the last 2 months of the year have gone, the previous two seasons. So yeah, I just think it's better for everybody involved that he leaves. If not, then you know what you have. You have a really good defensive coordinator, but I would like to see some new blood on this coaching staff as well. All right, so talking about this game specifically, I think this could be ugly because remember the Panthers already beat the Rams earlier in this year in Carolina. Now, if it was LA and the Panthers had to fly across the country, I wouldn't feel as good about their chances as I do in this game. But since it's relatively a good game, a good matchup for the Los Angeles Rams, um, I just think that they're going to win. I think Stafford's been too strong this year. I think, despite the fact that they've lost a bunch of games to, very winnable games to teams they really shouldn't have, like Atlanta, like Carolina, I think that's going to screw them over for years to come, or not years to come, but I think, it doesn't bode well for them going into the postseason because I think they should have had some momentum and some mojo. Like, hey, yeah, we've been there, we done that, we can get it done. But yeah, also my mic is closer to my mouth now, so let me know what you guys think about the audio. Uh yeah, I don't know. I just have a lot of questions about that, but let me know how it sounds. Let me know how I sound. So just going over here, we've got Bryce Young against Matthew Stafford, and I think Devontae Adams is going to play. I think they shut him down to get him ready for the playoffs. And I think the Carolina Panthers are just not ready yet to win. The Rams are a been there, done that team. They go pretty far every year. They always put up a fight. McVay always has this team ready to play. Now, one thing to keep an eye on is that, oh, awesome. I'm glad T Fishes. Chris Shula is potentially getting head coaching hires, or I think he actually is getting head coaching hires. So that could play into the preparation of the Los Angeles Rams. That could kind of set it behind. But either way, I'm not concerned for them. I think that they're going to win this game. And it's kind of weird that Houston is not on the 2 o'clock Sunday slate or Saturday slate. That seems like it's been a wild card weekend staple at this point. What do we got in the divisional round or wild card round? So we got Packers versus Bears. Love, I assume, is going to play in this one, right? I think they were just shutting him down to get him ready for the playoffs. I think they rested everybody. But yeah, no, the Packers, they always seem to have some playoff letdown, and they always seem to, be the overmatched seventh seed. Now, against San Francisco 2 years ago, they did a really, really good job, in Love's first year starting at not only rebounding, but kind of going on a tear there at the very end. And then the Chicago Bears, this is Ben Johnson's first real chance to show that he's legit because if you let Green Bay walk into your house and they beat you, that would be really, really bad for the Chicago Bears. But yeah, I think overall, I go Bears on this one. I think, Caleb Williams is the guy in Chicago. I think, the entire city of Chicago is going to be amped up for this game. And yeah, I think that it's just going to be too much of a tall task for the Packers to go into Soldier Field and win this game, especially with the Bears offense heating up the way it has, especially in the back half of the year. Bills, Jaguars. Man, this is going to be a good one. You've got two really, really hot teams. I think the Jags win, man. I know that you probably shouldn't underestimate Josh Allen and what he can do and how far he can drag a team, but either way, he's been one of the very best in the NFL throughout the playoffs, throughout his career. So, maybe I'm stupid by underestimating him, but the Jags are for real. The Jags are legit. Now, if there is one thing you could be like, I don't know, when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, it's this is Trevor Lawrence's second playoff game. This is a young team. Like most of these guys have not played in a playoff game. They've added substantial pieces to their core ever since they were in the playoffs 3 years ago against the Chargers when they ended up coming back really, really hard. And obviously they lost in Arrowhead that year. But, I think it's, Buffalo went down to Jacksonville 8 years ago, and I think it's going to be more of the same. I think it's going to be really good. And, yeah. I think the Bills take it. The Colts laid the blueprint defensively how to stop T-Law. That's a pretty valid take. But, here's my thing is that division rivals, they always know how to execute against their division rivals. And even though T-Law was not an absolute heater, I just don't think the Bills defense is very good this year. Like, I know they had a really good second half against the Philadelphia Eagles, but for the most part this year, the Bills defense has not been very good. Now, there have been times where they've started slowing games and they've been able to turn it around. Like I think about the Eagles, I think about the second Patriots game that was in Gillette. But that's how I'm feeling about that. Bills, Jags. I think the Jags win. Once again, I just don't think that the Bills have enough to contend with a really, really strong Jacksonville team right now. 49ers, Eagles. I think the Eagles take this one. I know that San Francisco, it's always a wild card as to what offense shows up. Same with the Philadelphia Eagles. But Fangio has a really, really strong record against these Shanahan teams. So I think Fangio does find a way to get it done here. What else? Also, if you guys are loving the stream, it would mean the world to me if you guys could leave a like and share this with somebody. Let's get some hype in the chat for the Broncos playoff run. All right, Chargers, Patriots. I think the Patriots win this. I know a lot of people are on the Chargers lately. I just don't think they can do it without Slater and Alt. We have if man going into the playoffs, and even though I don't think the Patriots defense is that good, it's a Justin Herbert thing. Like, I don't think Justin Herbert, quarterback who plays in a dome, a quarterback team who plays in a warm weather city, I just don't think it's within them to go into New England because the weather looks like it's supposed to be really, really crappy. And overall, I just think that, there's just too much of a tall task here for the New England Patriots going into this game, or for the Chargers going into this game. Drake May is on a heater of heaters right now. So, yeah, that's how I'm feeling about that. What's the other one? Okay, Texans, Steelers. Everything tells us that the Texans should pull this one out, but don't underestimate the Steelers, man. Like, not because I think Rodgers is, like, still good or anything like that, but, the Steelers, they always come to play, at home. I think, C.J. Stroud hasn't really been that impressive on the offensive side of the ball since his rookie year, and I think that, Pittsburgh will find a way to get after him, which I think is going to keep the score really close. I think Pittsburgh is going to surprise a lot of people this weekend, but ultimately, the Texans should pull this one off. Sorry, I'm going to adjust my mic real quick. All right. Sorry for adjusting your mic. Sorry if that broke your eardrums. See what else we got. And I am going to scoot my computer a little bit this way. All right. Perfect. So, any games you guys are thinking about? Any thoughts about the Broncos in general, or like the playoffs or anything like that? Those are my predictions for wildcard weekend. But obviously, this isn't an interactive show, but I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. And yeah, T. Fisher's always coming in here with the heat. Just waiting for more people to join. I thought mainly Broncos was going to be tonight, but I guess it wasn't. So whatever. Maybe I should have texted Cameron and be like, "Come on, Denver Broncos tonight." Yeah, I don't know. But either way, this is the first time I've done Denver Broncos tonight since my nose surgery. Yeah, I just think that it took me a long time to get back on this, but we now up exponentially. Okay. What else can I go through here? I'm gonna go through the Broncos' performance against. I'm gonna go through the Broncos' performance against who? I don't. Against the Chargers. I'm gonna go to the PFF game grade for this game. Let me know if you guys can see. All right. Wow, that is very, very far zoomed in. All right. Let's start with the offense because honestly, I didn't think the offense played very well, but we'll see. Pressures allowed. Man, Alex Forsyth struggled out there. Alex Forsyth had a very, very bad game. How do you hear others when you go on horsepower hour without us hearing them through your mics? So my streaming software, StreamYard, the streaming software that we all record on, it has like a noise cancellation or echo cancellation feature, and that's how I can hear. That's how it does it. Like there's a built-in noise cancellation feature on the website we use to stream StreamYard. So yeah, I think Jeremy wears headphones. I think Mark wears AirPods sometimes, but David doesn't need headphones either. But yeah, no, good question because that is something I haven't really thought about. But yeah, either way, so these are the Broncos grades from the game. Once again, I think Forsyth really, really had a bad day. Now they only charged the O-line with 1 sack, but you watch the game, like I think they were still getting a lot of pressure. A lot of it was just Bo Nix like dropping to the floor. It was like, all right, I just don't want to turn the football over, and completely valid. Like that game was over the minute the pick six was thrown. Who else? Bulls, absolute nails as always. But one thing that's interesting to me is the run blocking grades. I don't think they did that good of a job run blocking in this game, but oh well. Oh well. So, now let's move on to the quarterback. Let's move on to the quarterback. This was just clearly not a very serious game plan that they laid out against the Los Angeles Chargers. Like, hold on. Looking for the. Okay, yeah, pretty much everything was just like right here. Middle hash, left hash. Very, very conservative game plan. It was basically like the ultimate, like, all right, play conservative. Yeah, plan. What did you think of PJ? I thought he looked good. He did look good, but he always looks good whenever we play against struggling offenses. Like I think Jacksonville is the benchmark for how he will look at the playoffs. Not because I think he sucks or anything like that, but just because that's the player he's always been. He's always been that guy that struggles when it comes down to it. He's always been that guy that against the good offenses, he's not going to play that well. I thought he looked really, really good against Green Bay in the second half, but other than that, like there's a reason he's a backup. There's a reason that we upgraded that safety spot this past offseason did, yeah. So that's how I'm feeling about PJ Locke. Yeah. That is what I think of PJ. Man, guys, I had so much coffee at 4 p.m. today, 5 p.m. today, and I'm not used to coffee. I'm not really a coffee drinker, but yeah, we got Denver football after dark. PJ is the Alex Singleton of safeties. PJ Locke is better. No, but I get it. Like fan favorite, really, really good locker room guy. Clearly liked by everybody in this building. So yeah, like good for him. But I don't know. You raise a really interesting question. Let me actually look at his PFF grade. That's a good question. I think Peter Locke would be a good one to look at for this. Safety. Right. So we saw him a little bit against the Colts. You know what's funny? I noticed when we saw him against the Jets because the Jets actually had a pretty solid drive when Hufanga had to come out and PJ Locke was back in. So PJ Locke had a really bad game against Jacksonville, but I think he definitely bounced back. I didn't really. Once again, it was kind of hard to judge. It's kind of hard to judge, like how good he actually was in that game, but yeah. It's That's actually a really good question, though, because I haven't really thought too much about PJ Locke. I have not thought about PJ Locke. Huh. Oh. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so like if you're just generally looking at his stuff, like he's one of those really frustrating players where you just kind of got to live with the good and the bad, unfortunately. And man, I wish it wasn't that way, but yeah. Yeah. It just is what it is at this point. Like, I don't know, man. I don't really like it. I think we really, really need to sign someone. And speaking of which, let me look who we got right now. Who do we got right now that we can just pick up off the street and they can play well? Okay, these are available. About to say, I know that they're on Hollinside. Okay, Justin Simmons, that's not happening. Maybe Marcus Williams. Oh shit! Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. T Fish is like it always makes my day when you guys give me your hard-earned cash. So hi, oh man, this is a loaded question. This is a really loaded question. What is your honest opinion on Bo? Do you think he can take us to the Super Bowl? I think he can do it. I really do. I think he can do it. But the thing is, I just don't have the horses, I don't think. I just don't think we have the horses on the offensive side of the ball to how do I put this? How do I put this? I just don't think we have the horses on the offensive side of the ball to do something this year. Um, Now Bo, like we've seen, he can go toe to toe with any quarterback when we're good. Like when we're a good team or when we're playing well and our weapons are playing well, that's really what the entire offense goes through. But as far as Bo specifically, I think he can take us to the Super Bowl. I think he can take us to the Super Bowl. Will it be good enough to win a Super Bowl? I mean, I don't know. I feel like most of this year it has not been the progression I've been wanting. That being said, like when he has needed to turn it up against good teams, he has. I know that we played some really, really interesting game plans, or we had some really interesting game plans. Um, yeah, just throughout the game, but yeah, um, throughout what's it called? The throughout the past 2 weeks, like they were really vanilla. They were really interesting game plans, but this was kind of a loaded question, so I appreciate it. The thing is, I don't think we have the weapons to get it done. I just don't. I think we could absolutely go to the Super Bowl. I just don't think we could. How do I put this? I just don't think we could go that far with the weapons that we have. And you know what? No hate. That's completely fine. But it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Wait, why the fuck? Oh, okay. So Bo Nix has no reports on the defensive side of the ball. Cool. Which is okay. Yeah, like this is true, but our receivers aren't like Spider-Man or whatever. So yeah. But you could play this game all day long. Okay. I am paying attention to draft prospects. I am. Finally. Yeah. We are paying attention to draft prospects. Like there are some dudes I really, really like. Honestly, I think we're going defense with our first pick. Bo himself started out way too slow. Can't be doing that if we want to consider him a top quarterback. I agree. And unfortunately, I think the uh unfortunately the thing is I think unfortunately how do I put this? I think with Bo Nix, you're just gonna have to live with the bad. You're gonna have to learn live with uh you're just gonna have to live with the short weeks. You're gonna have to live with being bad. You're gonna have to live with Thursday Night Football being really, really what's it called? Yeah. Yeah, like I'm trying to put this into perspective. You just kind of have to live with the good and the bad when it comes to Bo Nix. Yeah, all right. But yeah, I'm trying to pull up some mock drafts real quick. Christian Miller, you're a Denver Bronco, yes. So, strong and consistent running game. Yeah, the problem is I think Bo played his worst football at the beginning of the year, and that's when we had J.K. Dobbins. So yeah, but I agree. Like if we could get this Bo that we've gotten like the second half of the year ever since the bye with a strong and consistent run game, like we'd be a really, really hard team to beat. And that's ultimately just how I'm feeling. But yeah, no. I am curious to see what Bo looks like with a strong and consistent running game as well. Um, so yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Wait, speaking of J.K. Dobbins, we might get him back. We need to upgrade the left guard and running back position in order to be a more consistent team. I agree. I think the problem is running back's still not a very valuable position. Running back just still isn't that valuable of a position. I don't know what you do because you already used a top two pick on a running back this year. Like maybe you bring back Dobbins, but yeah, I don't know. I think it definitely needs to improve. I think Bidet has been too much of a non-factor. I think Jaleel has been good, but yeah, I'm trying to find Dobbins like the nobody beating Green Bay Bo. Yeah, if we get that Bo Nix, we are going to be a very, 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 very hard team to beat when it comes down to it in January. You know, he could pray freer if there was less pressure on him to have to carry the offense on his own. I agree. I completely agree. I completely agree with us needing better playmakers, and I think that if Waddle did cost a first and that's all he cost, then I think it's pretty bad that the team actually didn't do it. But yeah, no, I think there is too much pressure. I just that's the thing is I don't think we had the offensive skill position dudes to uh I don't think we have the offensive skill position dudes to really, really make a run, okay? I'm gonna pull up our receiving stats. So receiving grades. Minimum targets, let's do like 10. Yeah, all right. Teams, AFC West, Denver Broncos. All right. First, try to convince one of the good free agent running backs to come here. Yeah, I agree. Like, I think we need like guys that are proven. Like, I would really like Brees Hall. I would really like Kenneth Walker. We should consider a running back in the first 3 rounds. There's a pretty good amount of running back talent in this draft, but unfortunately, there's just been way too much inconsistency with these guys. At one point this year, Troy Franklin had as many targets as Jackson Smith and Jigba, which I mean, not to compare Franklin to what's his name? Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like I wait, hold on. It gets even worse. Hold on. If you like remove this filter, minimum 1 target. Wait. Oh, okay. This is what I was trying to look at. Okay. Let's do like 8 targets cuz okay. Uh like when people are just like I don't this is why I'm concerned. You look at the other quarterbacks that came out with Bo, May, and Williams, they have very good running games. Chicago has great receivers. You're correct. Like, look at this. This just isn't good enough. Like, hold on. I just don't think this is good enough to make a deep playoff run. Not to say that we can't, but I'd be very, very surprised. I'm looking for drops. Here we go. So these are I'm surprised the charge drops are this low. Like Troy Franklin obviously has been really frustrating, but I think PFR tracks drops a little more harshly. And yeah. But either way, you guys just need to look at this, and this is just not good enough. But yeah, they do have very good running games. Like Monangai and Swift are really good over there in Chicago, and Travion and Ramondre are on fire right now over there. The Patriots over there for the Patriots. What else? You know, yeah, they have a Colston Loveland. But they've invested a lot into that team. They have invested a lot into the offensive side of the ball. Um, like they obviously had the capital to go with Caleb Williams, with Rome Odunze, with all those guys, but either way, that's how I'm feeling about that. So but yeah, guys, I just don't think this group just has not impressed me that much this year. Like I know a lot of it has been because the offense as a whole has been really inconsistent for a lot of the year, but all right, here we go. This is why will my clicker not get off of this? All right, there we go. So yeah, this is like I don't know. I think Troy will clean it up and Pat is pretty sure hands. Court gets a pass. We do need a tight end, and that's the thing is that yeah. It's unfortunate. Chicago has an offense to play with anyone. They do. They do, especially it feels like their offense doesn't travel that well. Hello. So yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to look some I'm trying to do some like advanced research on PFR, but Casey Concepcion drops out of the draft. I think we should trade up for him. I mean, Speed Demon. Speed Demon faux show. Sucks, but I officially, yeah, that I think I'm in the same boat. Like for our offense to just really get going, I think that for our offense to really, really get going, it sucks because we use like the old school guys. We use like the Troutmans, the Prentices. We use the just complete non-factors in the receiving game a lot of the season. And for Ingram to work out here, I think it would just require a huge shift in the offensive philosophy. Like we really like our good blockers. Like we would rather have a good blocker out there with bad receiving skills than vice versa. So it just is what it is. I know it's really unfortunate, but Sean Payton runs a very old offense. You don't see a lot of motion. You don't see a lot of like modern stuff. He's very old school. He's very just like light up and just beat the other dudes, and that's completely fine. But yeah, what I will say, sorry I glazed over this. Chicago does have the offense to play with anyone. They do have the defense to lose to anyone too, but they do take the ball away a lot. I think they are number one in turnovers, and number two is Jacksonville. So, you know what? If you could just, get the flip the field, get a turnover or two, do whatever, then they have a chance to play with anyone. They do have a chance to play with anyone. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. Casey Concepcion has focus drop problems too. I really like Denzel Boston, Ruby Bernard. Chris Brazel is interesting, but we do, yeah, I think Boston does make sense. Yeah. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling stylistically about our team, about our offense. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. Sorry, I keep getting a lot of texts from my friends. This is a good coming. Yeah, we do have to target our tight ends as well. Like, um, all right, peace. Oh my goodness. The frustrating thing about our Broncos is they flash greatness at times and it leaves us wanting more of that. Yeah, exactly. But I think Sean Payton, like, honestly, I think keeping this team close to the chest and keeping them calloused in one score games, I think that's really, really going to benefit us in the playoffs. I know that that's been an excuse for a lot of the year, but I think it was a valid excuse against the Chiefs and against the Chargers. Like this past game against the Chargers, we ran like literally nothing on the offensive side of the ball. And yeah, so that's the thing is that, you know, I think this will benefit us in the long run, okay? I think it'll be a huge benefit, but, ultimately, that's how I feel about that. Yeah. Hello, guys. We're 14 and 3 talking about draft prospects. My bad for bringing it up. Hey, man, don't apologize. And also, it's never too soon to start talking about the draft. The draft is a 24/7, 365 event. Even if you go, sorry, excuse me, even if you go 17-0, it is still something that you got to do. See, the problem is I don't want like another crazy yak ability guy. Like we already tried that with Marvin Mims, and I think the writing's on the wall with Marvin Mims. Like if you're talking about to me about one of the most disappointing seasons on the team, it is Marvin Mims not taking that next step forward on the offensive side of the ball. And I get it. He's a really, really good returner. But at a certain point, like Marvin Mims just hasn't been producing on offense this year. And he's played in 17 games. He only missed one game against Houston. So it's not like he's been like, I don't know. It's not like he's been on the shelf for a lot of the year. I think 322 yards is that. I think what he caps out as is this in 2024, like 515 yards. And here's the frustrating thing. Like, we just stopped using him as a running back, which that sucked. He also had a lot more yak last year. Obviously, he had the 93-yard catch and run, which does uh, do the average, boost the average. But one thing that's interesting to me is that he's actually really, really good for a smaller guy in contested catch situations. And this contested catch was obviously against Buffalo, but this one I think was against one of them was against the Giants towards the end of the game. I think another one was against the Colts in week 2. But yeah, I really don't know why Marvin Mims has been on the shelf. Casey Concepcion beats all those guys in yak ability and crazy potential. I mean, that's fantastic. Like, I really, really hate how we've developed our offensive skill position players the past few years. I think, like, how do I put this? I don't really like how we've developed these guys. I think Pat Bryant has come in right away and he's been like the high floor dude. And, Sean Payton, he just likes his bigger receivers, which, I'm happy with his return ability, obviously, but Marvin Mims has had a weird fit in this offense since he came here. I can live with the drops, especially if they're fine with Troy out there. The thing about Troy is that he is so, so, so inconsistent. Okay. Like, I don't mind the drops either, but as far as the actual wide receiver play, like route running, like the ability to get open, he is so, so streaky. And I get it. Like, relying on him to be your wide receiver 2 coming into the year. I know he had a really, really good summer, but that was always going to be risky. And unfortunately, I don't think we've seen it really ever since the Green Bay game. I think ever since the bye week, we've seen, probably one good game out of Troy Franklin. I thought he was really good against the Bengals, really good against the Cowboys, but we need to get. I think Troy Franklin's the X factor for this offense going into January and beyond. Exactly. Like, we do need to clean this up, like, because we talked about this on horsepower, or Jeremy talked about this. Like, it is okay. It is completely, completely fine to play close to the chest and play close during the season, but your margin of error is this thin. And Cortland Sutton, he dropped 3 passes against Kansas City. Didn't hurt you against the Chiefs, but it shouldn't have hurt you against the Chiefs. And honestly, even if he hauls in one of those, then we have a much more comfortable margin of victory. We have a much more comfortable game. We were tied with Chris Aludicon with 2 minutes left in the game, 13-13. Like, that just can't happen. I know a lot of it was because of the offense that we played, and we played a really, really good time possession game plan. I was really happy with how the offense performed overall, but I was not happy with, Cortland Sutton. I was not happy with, the receiving play in that game in general. Besides Lil Jordan Humphrey, he was like the only one that I was like fine with. But yeah, no, you're completely right, Martin. Like, this is really, really something worth noting. And RJ Harvey, man, RJ Harvey he is so frustrating. Even as a 24-year-old rookie, he is just so, so frustrating. I hope he's a 25-year-old rookie by the time we reach the Super Bowl. Let me see. Rushing RJ Harvey. All right. So obviously it hasn't been pretty for a lot of the year with RJ Harvey. Like, we've just seen too many of these games where he just does not have a high yards per carry. We like way too many sub 3 yards per carry games. And the games where he plays well, man, like, this is as far as the offense can go. But my thing is, all right, if RJ is cooking on the ground, why is he only getting 7 carries? Because one of these was obviously the really long run against Dallas. One of these was the really long run against Jacksonville. I thought our ground game was really struggling until that point as well. But I don't think Harvey's horrible. I think the blocking was absolutely awful. I think there's just a lot of blame to go around throughout the Chargers game. Harvey, I will say he is frustrating down to down. Like, I don't think his vision is good. And I think it's really alarming considering he was an older prospect who, 24-year-old running back, you're kind of expected to come in and be really ahead of the curve because these guys, they kind of cap out. He's already at the RB age apex. Now, the RB age apex, I believe, has increased in past years, but it used to be like 24 years old. That was the peak of your rookie career. So the fact that he came in and doesn't catch balls reliably and the fact that he is a really frustrating runner down to down, that sucks. But once again, he is one of your best offense playmakers. Like, you need to get the ball in his hands, okay? Harvey and Mims are the 2 guys that can really, really do damage with the ball in their hands. And I think you gotta give them the opportunity to hit a home run in the playoffs. Because if you don't, then your season's going to be over. Now, what I will say is I think once we have a real consistent down-to-down runner, I think that Harvey will improve because he's not going to, be relied upon to carry the workload. I think he's not going to be relied upon to be that RB1 or whatever. But yeah, as far as the running this year, it's just been painful for a lot of it. Like 3.7 yards per carry, that's not good, especially when behind this very similar offensive line, J.K. Dobbins was averaging close to 5. I think it was 5 flat. So yeah, behind the same offensive line. Now I know that he had powers these first 5 games. It was the good powers. It was not the powers that we've been seeing over the past couple weeks. We played really, really well with J.K. Dobbins in the lineup. We were a different offense with. Yeah, I think people overrate him too. Like I think as a receiver, like he's not that good. Obviously, we know how special he is as a kick returner, but he just has not taken any steps forward that really believe that he's a long-term solution at the wide receiver position. Obviously, a guy that you extend. Obviously, a guy that if he's around for a while. Oh, sorry, this is odd. All right. Obviously, he's a guy that you want around for a while. He's a fan favorite. I love him. He obviously loves being a Denver Bronco. And I think he has a future in broadcasting. Whatever he does hang it up, whether that's 5 years, whether that's 10 years, I think he does I think he'd be an awesome guy on the radio. But yeah. Harvey is relatively new as a running back. Hopefully he continues to improve. Yeah, that's crazy to me is that one thing I guess I am forgetting is that 2022 was when he actually switched from being a quarterback to a running back. I have no idea how you're 5'8", my height, and you get recruited as a quarterback. Like that's pretty crazy to me. But he made the full-time transition to running back, and he was a crazy runner. Now that is interesting though, because he didn't grow up playing running back. He grew up playing quarterback. Like if you watch his high school highlights, he's literally dropping dimes throwing the football. But yeah, asking him to carry the backfield is too much. But yeah, he is a relatively new running back. But once again, like he's an older prospect, so I think it is frustrating that he's not more ahead of the curve. Harvey could be a good complementary back, but to carry the backfield is asking too much. Yeah, I agree. Like J.K. Dobbins, he's a been there, done that guy. He's so reliable. He's so freaking good. He was so good for us. But yeah, Harvey just hits the line too fast. The hold never develops, which is crazy because he showed patience in college. Yeah, that is kind of crazy because, he had a really, really bad offensive line at UCF. And I don't think the Broncos offensive line is as good as it grades out. Like, I definitely think it is a top 5-ish unit in the NFL. I'd say borderline top 5, but they're not that good at run blocking. Like, I think for all the good things, the run scheme is not that good, but I don't think it's quite the running back's fault. I don't think it's quite the offensive line's fault. You know who I blame? I blame Sean Payton because I think a lot of our running offense relies upon having too much heavy packages, and then defenses can just cheat downwards. And I just don't think we have the finesse to block it like that. Our line is built to pass block. It's not built to run block, which is unfortunate. They showed you where their priorities were with Luke Wattenberg with the extension because obviously he's a really, really good pass blocker. And if you combined Forsyth and you combined Wattenberg, you combined Wattenberg's pass blocking and Forsyth's run blocking, you would have an all-pro center. Unfortunately, that's not the way it worked, and they relied upon Wattenberg to be a very reliable force in the middle of the field. But yeah, so that's how I'm feeling about Harvey. Like, I know that he's been frustrating. I know that a lot of people don't really like how Harvey has been this year, but that's funny. Yeah, all right. All right. So yeah. But anyway, any thoughts about Dobbins? Like, we could get him back for the AFC Championship. That would be sick. That would be sick. Also, I think we only have 2 activations for the IR off IR for the playoffs. Like, hold on. Let me look this up. Also, shout out to 27 of you. Shout out to 31 of you guys in here. We need to start drafting younger players. Yes. Oh my God, this has driven me nuts. Okay. Barron being 23 is one thing, but 24-year-old running back, like I get it, but with how hesitant you are to deploy rookies, it's like whatever. Pat Bryant at least was 22, and then but yeah, we do tend to draft older prospects, and it is what it is. Like being an older prospect with the era of NIL, with the whatever today is not that is not a it's not the death sentence that it once was, shall I say, but hold on. We need an Alex Gibbs guy type to revamp our run game. We do, don't we? I think does he yeah. Yeah, basically, we need like a Mike Westhoff and Ben Kotwika, but on the offensive line. Like Zach Strief, he is a great, great, great coach when it comes to dialing up protection schemes. Like even in our game against Green Bay, I thought Micah was very, very. Uh, I thought Micah was a non-factor. Max Crosby, he got his against us like he always does, but well, it is what it is. But yeah, no, we do for sure. Now, yeah, I think. The problem is this line is built to pass protect, and unless you're drafting a interior guy with the intention that you're gonna like put them in the pipeline and develop them, and their primary focus is run blocking, then that just is what it is. But yeah, no, this line is built to pass protect, and unfortunately, sometimes they do crumble in pure pass block situations. But like I don't think they played all that well against the Commanders. But yeah, if you're gonna at least handcuff rookies, their first year, at least make sure his next season he's 23, he's 22, he's 23. Yeah. This is kind of a loaded question. I don't know if I have enough time to answer it. Or no, I have time to answer it, but I do want to go through this first real quick. I do want to. All right. Broncos draft picks. All-time draft history. Does it have their ages on here? Okay, no, it doesn't. But yeah, 24-year-old quarterback, which, I mean, that is what it is. I'm not really concerned about that. But yeah, Jade Barrett, why does it not have his age on here? I'm looking for their ages. Oh, let me go back over to Wikipedia. All right, here we go. Wikipedia. All right. So what am I gonna look at? Trying to think. All right. Draft picks. All right, here we go. Jade Barron. He is going to be 24, or he actually did just turn 24. All right, that is what it is then. RJ Harvey, we know he's old. Pat Bryant, he's like what, 23? Yeah, I'm not too concerned about him. Like 23 is whatever because it does fall within the line, but of that. Savion Jones, let's see. He's 22, I think. Yeah. All right, so he's on the younger side. Q Robinson, I think he's 21. Oh shit, he's 24. Yeah, I don't really. Damn, I thought he was much younger. Oof. Crawshaw, he's 24 as well, but he's a punter, so who cares? Gil Loader's 24 as well. Yeah, we had a really, really old draft class. Like, I think you're kind of splitting hairs when it comes to these things. Like, I know that just because a guy is like younger, it doesn't mean they're magically going to be a better prospect or whatever. But yeah, what else? So I wanted to go and revisit something else. I know Troy Franklin and Audric Estime were really, really young players, so it doesn't magically mean that the secret sauce is us. It doesn't mean the secret sauce is us just like what's it called? Just drafting a young players because Estime, who's balling out the Saints right now, he was 20 by the time we drafted him. Or yeah, and then what else? Sorry if you guys can hear my mic or whatever. It was kind of falling over. So we got Jonah Ellis against the Titans right here. 22. I didn't know he was from Michigan. Oh, that whole family is like from Utah, Idaho. Yeah, Abram Strain, he's another guy who I think is older. Yep, 24 years old, although we drafted him while he was 22. Vele was fucking old as shit. He was like, what? Now he's 28, I think, right? Yeah, he was 28. So yeah, I would like to see the Broncos go younger in general throughout the draft process. Now, what I will say is I think this draft class was pretty young. I think the 2023 class was pretty young outside of Riley Moss. Riley Moss was like a 23-year-old when we drafted him. Yeah. So he's going into his fourth year in the NFL. He's going to be 26, so that's not really that old. But all right, Jalen Skinner, damn, he was 22 when we drafted him. Yeah, Forsyth was an older player, right? 26, yeah. So Marvin Mims, I think he's 23. Yep. And then who else? Drew Sanders. He was really young, I think. Okay. Oh no, he's around the same age as me. He's 3 months older than me. All right. But yeah, so stylistically, I get what you're saying. Like they should do that. Do a quick 4-round mock draft. You know what? I should. Estime doing his thing in New Orleans. Yeah. Bro, this mic stand. I got a new mic stand. It is pissing me off. I preferred Estime over Bidet just because Estime is a power runner, and if JK went down, nobody else could take on that role. See, the thing that sucks about Estime is I think it was just one of those things where it just wasn't going to happen here. I just think Estime and this coaching staff were not a good fit. I think, it was a good fit going to New Orleans where they're very depleted of talent throughout the roster. Not to say that Kamara is like bad or anything, but Kamara's kind of on his last leg. Kendrick Miller just has not panned out for them at all. So I think he did land in an ideal spot, and he's one of those guys that he just needs a lot of touches to get going. And Sean Payton doesn't do that because he doesn't like to throw the ball. But yeah, so it's tough the way it turned out with Estime. It is relatively annoying, but yeah. Mock draft simulator. All right, we'll do a quick mock draft. Why not? I always try to bump this. Randomness. Sure. Oh, I only did 4 rounds. All right, let's do this. Y'all, all right. All right, guys, you guys can tell me who you would like. Are we trading the future for Mendoza? I don't know why they're making me do this. All right. So look who's off the board. As far as your guy, Casey Concepcion out of A&M, who was the guy that really wanted him? TW was the one that really wanted KC. And then who else? Kenny Sadiq, he's off the board. Lobo could go as high as 5th overall. Like I've seen a lot of mock drafts taking. Seems like David Bailey is really climbing up boards. Bain is not. I don't think he's going to drop to number 10. This would be really, really scary. We got to hope Patrick Mahomes does not get his hands on Jordan Tyson or whatever. Lemon. Oh man, are they just trying to make us? Are they just trying to make us quake in fear? So if the Giants take another running back way too early. And then we got Jaden Daniels with Cardell Tate. We've got Mahomes with Jordan Tyson. We've got Lamar with Mekhi Levin. Yikes. All right, guys, we got to capitalize on our window this year, but I'm kind of kidding. Let me zoom in real quick. All right. But as far as the available guys here, you guys are going to hate what I'm going to do. I think we go corner. And I'm drafting this by the way of not what I think the team should do, but what I think they will do. Now, what do you think we do here? I think, we do add another wide receiver this offseason. I think I'm between 2 ultra productive wide receivers. Skylar Bell was an absolute beast at UConn. I think he actually got named to the first team All-American when he was at UConn. Let me check out the profile real quick. Really, really good contested catch rate. Absolutely tore up I guess I was about to say he tore up the ACC because we got Syracuse, but I guess UConn's independent, so that doesn't really matter. Then Omar Cooper, he's another one he's been rising quite a bit lately. Now, is it just fool's gold? Is it just Mendoza doing magic? Who knows? But I think the team will go with a wideout. I think they're going to try to add one. I think they're going to, whether or not they succeed at that, it remains to be seen. But I think they go Omar Cooper in the second round if he is available right there. And then who else? There are a couple of guys who I think are really, really good Sean Payton fits. One example is I know that he's not going to be taken this early, I think, but John Michael Gallenborg. I think he's from Kansas City, and obviously it'd be funny to take a lifelong Chiefs fan and make him an absolute Denver Broncos legend. But Oscar Delp, he's another one that gets a lot of really, really good stuff. Jacob Rodriguez, that'd be another really good one. Like, I do think we do need to go linebacker as well. Let's see. Is he still available? Like, I know he's going to climb up mock boards because he is going to be like his production at Texas Tech this year was just crazy. Did he win the Buckus Award? I think he did, right? Yeah. Oh my God, I know, right? I know TW. Actually, I don't know. They're a team that tends to go defense in the first round. You think about McDuffie, Karlaftis, Felix Anawike, Zoma, and then who else did they go with? Simmons. They also went Josh Simmons. So maybe I guess it's a mix of both. But I think that regime likes to go defense. Now, obviously, something has to switch up because the trash skill position players not panning out just really, really did them in this past offseason. And Andy Reid's not stupid. He knows the offensive line is really valuable, and they had to let go of Tooney, and they kind of only really have Creed and Trey Smith as the guys that are just the mainstays on the offensive line. Juwan Taylor has been a not really that good free agent pickup for them, but yeah. Eli Stowers, former QB2. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. That's a good point. But yeah, we'll take Jacob Rodriguez here, even though I think he's going to go higher. Like he just has a lot of limitations, but that I think are going to prevent him from going. But absolutely crazy, crazy production this year. Oh, wow, that is a lot of missed tackles though. But yeah, no, he did a really, really good job for Texas Tech being their stalwart. Texas Tech has an amazing front seven, so I think he'd thrive in our defensive ecosystem. I think he's one of those guys that you just kind of plug and play, and it is what it is. But yeah. All right. So, guys, all right, chat's choice. Who are we going with? What's our fourth round position? We've hit on quarterback. We've hit on wide receiver. We've hit on linebacker. You guys going tight end? You think we address that in free agency? What do you guys think we do? I bet my life Jacob Rodriguez goes day 2. See, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think he'll go day 2. Like, he's definitely not going to go day 1. But round 2 versus round 3, I think is a much more intriguing question for that. Bro. This thing's pissing me off. My new mic stand. My new boom arm is what it's called, actually. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm holding this thing together with duct tape. Sorry if it's destroying your ears. All right, what do we got? Rasheed allegations going on right now, and the running backs going garbage. Yeah, that was crazy. I saw that today. My mouth was wide open. Tight end. Probably Oscar Delp, I imagine, is the first one off here. But one of my boys, Marky Sports, he said that Daquan Wright would be a really, really good fit in a shot paid offense. And this is a Broncos team that they've already shown they don't really care about ADP. So I guess I'll trust Marky here, and I'll just kind of or do you guys want Gillenborg? Or I know he's probably a day 3 guy, but yeah, Joe Royer. Between Joe Royer and Oscar Delp right here. Now, I haven't really done a deep dive on any of these guys, but Derek Koshel is fantastic. I'll need to watch him. Because, yeah, these tight ends are actually here. Let's get some help from PFF on this one. All right, let's go to the PFF premium stats. I'm going to go to the PFF premium stats, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to filter this by tight end. Here's what we'll do for our help with our pick. Do you guys want yak? Do you guys want blocking? What kind of, do you guys want, what kind of traits do you guys look for in a tight end? All right, so here's what we'll do. I'm going to be between Oscar Delp, Joe Royer, both. All right, so here's what we'll do. We're going to be between Delp. We're going to be between, Kojal, and we're going to be between Royer. So here's what we'll do. Cincinnati Bearcats. And then we'll also do Houston Cougars. Then we will go to the SEC and we'll do the Georgia Bulldogs. Okay? All right. Say. You guys want yak? All right. We want somebody who can play in line, right? Right, guys? So if you do want your big slot, my concern with taking another big slot is I just don't want to repeat the Ingram mistake. I just really don't. I would much rather a guy who can play in line. I think that's what the Broncos will want to. And I think Delp is my pick here. Tight end that can play primarily, catch and play in line. And let's see what, just go through the metrics. Let's just see what these guys are all capable of, okay? Why is it going to make me wait again? Why is it going to make me wait? Once again, sorry my mic is all screwed up, but oh well. Yeah, this is weird. Okay, sorry. I'm going to try to redo what we were doing. We're doing, receiving grades? Also, T-Fishes, how is it out there in, what's it called? How is it out there in Compton right now? How are you doing, brother? Because you told me you live there, and I was like, oh, man. I was like, that's rather unfortunate, but hey. As long as life's good out there, then that's all I care about, man. Hope it's amazing for you. SEC, Georgia Bulldogs. All right. So, let's see. Who had the least amount of drops? Okay. Oscar Delp had 1 drop. How do you get 27 contested targets, bro? What? That's crazy. So this dude, okay, this guy was very, very productive in the Houston offense. Actually, Oscar Delp was not that productive, but Georgia's offense is a little weird. Like, they're very RPO heavy. I know they very much want to run the ball. We chilled, no helicopters out tonight. That's a huge improvement from what we've heard otherwise. Yeah, we do. I think we really need to hone in, lock in, and really get serious about our safety depth this upcoming offseason. Like, good. I'm glad they took the safety position seriously last year when it came to our starting 22, but we need to take it seriously when it comes to the depth. Look up Eli Stowers stats. All right. Yeah, I'll include this to include Vanderbilt T-Fishes. T-Fishes. Vanderbilt, there we go. I don't know why I couldn't find it. All right, so fuck. Bro, this mic is pissing me off. All right, what do we got here? Stowers, so we've got 62 targets. What else do we have? 4 touchdowns. And then what position? So once again, big slot. That's my fear when it comes to drafting a player like Stowers. Not because I'm doubting his talent, but because I'm just like, man, is he going to be a fit in this offense? So if you're looking at the guys who played inline the most, it's going to be Delp and then Royer. So yeah. So what route do you guys want to go? Delp or Royer would be my picks here, gentlemen. I know Kojiel or whatever his name is had really good production. Same with Stowers, but yeah. All right, let's get some hype in the chat. First person to respond, that's what we go with for our mock draft. Do we take Delp or do we take Royer? First one comes first, or first one to respond gets dibs. Royer or Delp. Those are between. I wouldn't be mad if they took Tanner and Eli can play very similar to Warren. They can do everything. That's true, but we can still get a dynamic inline tight end receiving threat. I think. I'll have to watch these guys and see how they actually are as like inline receiving threats. But yeah, that's good. But the problem is we already have a guy who can line up out wide if we need him to. And unfortunately, I just don't think those kinds of guys are fits in our offense. Not to say that I think Sean Payton would not know how to use Tyler Ward if he were here, but yeah. All right, nobody's responding, so I think I'm going to go with bad run blocker. All right. Not much better. You know what? Who had the lower drop rate? I guess that should be the tiebreaker. Royer did not drop a pass. So, all right, let's go. Oh, shit. Sorry, T-Fish. I didn't see this until now, but we still have another pick in the 4th round. All right. All right. Justice Haynes is going to jump out the gym. Le'Veon Moss is somebody. Jaden Ott. This one's really interesting because I thought he could be a lot higher up after he transferred out of Cal to Oklahoma. But yeah, could always get the Navy fullback. That could be a Sean Payton. CJ Donaldson. That is interesting because he lost his job to Bo Jackson, right? But yeah, any of these guys stick out to y'all? Justice Haynes looks pretty good as far as the yards after contact per attempt. So, yeah. Mark Fletcher. All right. T-Fishes. Oh, shit. Trying to think. Justice Haynes is nice, too. Wait, did we get sniped on Did we get sniped on what's his name? Oh wow, there are a lot of fourth round. Really good players in the fourth round. Can't find Fletcher. All right, well, let me see if I can find him again. They're not even listed here. Washington Jr. All right. Yeah, I don't know. These guys are they're like really far beyond. But yeah, get Haynes. I doubt he makes it past 115. All right. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Battle tested, Michigan, tough guy. Here we go, y'all. I know that it's gonna say we had like the worst mock draft of all time, but yeah. Here we go. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this and send it to my Discord with Andy and Mark. Bottom 40% of the Broncos drafts. All right. Yeah. That was fun. I'm looking forward to mock season, but once again, my primary focus is on the 1 seed right now. Okay. Washington's going to be a riser. Yeah, he probably will actually. Hold on. I don't know if I'm allowed to share this, but you know, I do have access to the college all 22 cut-ups. You know what? Let's watch some tape. I'm not scared. I'm not going to get booted from the Discord. All right. We've got Justin Haynes, all 22 versus Oklahoma. Let's watch. Glad the Saints lost on Sunday, helped our 4th round pick. Yeah. Guess so. Golden Hood won't be a good fit for us. Lol, more of a cover type. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Maybe I should have gone with Mansell delayed there then because, but yeah, either way, I just think the Broncos are really going to fall in love with him. Also, I don't know what I'm allowed to show, what I'm not, but screw it, we ball. Like I said, I'm not scared. All right. Bro, why is my mic acting up? My mic wants to go to the other side of my room. Sorry, guys. When I move my mic, does the audio get all messed up? Wait, why can't I? Can I like kind of full screen this? All right. Sorry, guys. This is as full as it goes. But yeah, let's watch some Justice Haynes. Why not? And here's the way I like to watch prospect film. I like to watch literally on 2x speed just because I want to see if they can make impact plays. Yeah. Okay, audio still okay. Fantastic. Thank you, T-Fishes. That's all I needed to know. But yeah, either way, let's watch some. Looks like we got some outside zone right here. Good stuff. Really likes how he stays. You know, that was some pretty nice contact balance, all things considered. Like, hold on, let's go back a little bit. Watch this in more slow motion. I do like how he stays like upright and doesn't like. He still finds a way to maintain natural leverage and fall like a couple yards forward. That's big. It's big. Delay. Yeah, you're right. He's probably gonna go top 15, which is unfortunate. You know, Hood has been a riser too. So that's interesting. But yeah. All right, let's see what we got here. All 22 film session. Like I said, I know that's kind of crazy doing these at this point in the year, but we'll see. All right, let's see what we can do on the screen pass behind line of scrimmage. Slow motion. I like to watch in real time from the broadcast angle, and then I like to watch slow from like the O-line angle. And Underwood throw. I do not like this pass by Underwood. Hold on. Bryce Underwood, I don't really love that. Let's watch that one more time. Sorry. All right. Bryce Underwood. Holy cow. Yeah, no, I don't really love that by Bryce Underwood. Either way, able to make the first guy miss, and he gets really, really low quick. So he could possibly get to our spot, but I doubt it. Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, either way, we're just watching some Justice Haynes film right now. Let me know what you guys think. Also, what do you guys want me to do on like this after dark? Because this is an interactive show. Do you guys want me to watch? Do you guys want to watch college film together? Do you guys want to watch something else? Do you want me to do any research? Do you guys want me to? I already went over my playoff predictions in the first part of the show, but I can briefly touch on those again if you guys want. Biggest issue with Haynes is he can't block. I have a feeling Sean will get Singleton from Penn State. Yeah, you're probably right. Man, this play went absolutely nowhere. But hold on. I want to see, like, does he have any blocking reps? Holy, oh, jeez. Oh, my God. He got face mask there. Did he not? Like, did he not get face masked here? Am I missing something? Bro, he got face masked. Raleek Brown went back to school. That's interesting. I actually didn't know that. Dude's really, really quick. We kind of did a mock together. Jackson, we kind of did a mock together, and this is what we came up with. It's not about the specific player, but it's where I think they're going to go. I think they want to have more secondary depth. I think they want to have guys more battle tested in the event that we do need to, throw more corners out there. And I do think they kind of want to push Riley Moss a little bit because, nobody was thinking about first round corner last year. And I'd be disappointed if they did it again, but we know that this team loves their secondary pieces. I think adding one wide receiver and one linebacker is enough. Now, obviously, I think you still need some depth. Like, you really, really got to hone in on your depth in the UDFA. You got to take shots on really good budget free agents, and that's how you can improve your depth. But, yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah. So, yeah, that was it. But either way, let's watch more Justice Haynes. All right, what we got here? Wow, what a play. Dude just basically bounced right off of everybody right here. Ready? Boom! We bring the boom. We need O-line. Yeah, we probably do need a developmental O-line piece. But once again, that's something that this team just doesn't value that much. So that's unfortunate. And I do think, Palczewski is a limited guy. He's not going to deter you from investment, but I would feel comfortable if they headed into next year with him as a starter. That was an interesting play call. DTs in the second round would be fantastic. Yeah. Nice little roll out by Underwood there. All right. So yeah, what I will say is that Justice Haynes did a really good job picking this guy up right here. I would have rather had Gadsden over Q Robinson. Or actually, here's what I would have done. I would have found a way to get another fifth round pick, and I would have gotten Gadsden. But as far as the guys I wanted last year, like Harmon, I would have really, really liked. Harmon was my big draft crush, and while he's been really good for the Steelers this year, like it's hard for me to just be like, where is he going to play? Because with first round dudes, you gotta take high impact players who you think can contribute right away, and yeah. But so it wouldn't have been Harmon. It probably just would have been Gadsden. I think I get why they took Q Robinson, and Q Robinson I've been pretty happy with how he's developed, but Gadsden clears. But if you're talking about at the time of the draft, my second round pick probably would have been Jalen Dole. Like, that's probably how I would have drafted. Big citrus. Oh my God, I would love big citrus. Wait, hold on. Let me look up Big Citrus's profile. Wait, what? Did I not spell his name right? Ah. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of here soon, but it's been great being with y'all again. But yeah, Big Citrus would be a heck of an ad. Either way, Eddie, I'll probably get out of here in 5 minutes. Any closing thoughts for anyone? Like, y'all got anything you want to get off your chest before we say peace for the night? Anything y'all want to say, or speak now or forever hold your peace? Final thought, glad to see you back. Yeah, man. Ever since my surgery, honestly, I recovered pretty quick. I just don't think I sound that good still. Like I just don't think I sound as good as I did before my surgery, and that might be interesting to say now, but if you guys watched me before my surgery, I sounded way different. And it's just a long recovery. But I think it will be better. But yeah, I'm gonna keep doing these a little more consistently. Can't promise every night like I was doing back before my surgery, but yeah. All right, either way, thank you, Fishes. Thank you, TW. Obviously, great show with y'all. Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, TW. Thank you, everybody else. Yeah, either way, you sound like you can narrate my life splendid. Oh, thank you, T Fishes. It might just be the vocal cords. I think I'm a vocal cord merchant, but yeah, either way, thank you all for coming in here, and thank you for chilling with me on this lovely Wednesday night. I will see you guys next time. Peace. Good night, TW.